Factory. This term we are learning how to be strong in the Lord by putting on his armour. And this week is the second piece, the breastplate of righteousness. Now, what in the world is a breastplate? Well, back in Bible times, soldiers would put a breastplate over their chest. I made my own one from a baking tray. Can you see? Now, this covered the most important parts of their bodies, the heart and lungs, except it's one of God's spiritual pieces of armour. So we can't see it with our eyes, but it's real and it works. And when we put it on, it shields us from all those sneaky arrows that the enemy would throw our way. So, how do we actually put on the breastplate? Well, there are two ways to do that. Number one, we remember that God has made us righteous. Okay, the second way to put it on is by us turning away from wrong things and instead obeying God. Now, in the Bible was somebody who faced an enemy and relied on God's mighty power. So let me take you back to the story of David versus Goliath. What a fight. Picture this, you've got two armies, Philistine army on this mountain and Israelite army on the other, and a valley in between. And every day for 40 days even, 40 years would be a long time, Goliath would stomp out into the valley with his challenge and he'd say, I'll fight the best man in your army. If he can kill me, we'll all be your slaves. But if I kill him, then you must be our slaves. Well, the Israelites were absolutely terrified because he was so huge and he had amazing armour and weapons. Nobody was brave enough to fight him. But then along comes the hero, David. His dad had sent him to the Israelite camp with food for his soldier brothers. And when David heard Goliath shouting and saw how frightened the Israelite soldiers were, he told the king that he would fight the giant. Now, Goliath was covered head to foot in the armour of this world. But David, he didn't wear any armour. He just showed up with a shepherd's stick, a sling, and 5 small stones. Goliath was fighting in his own human strength, but David was fighting with spiritual strength because he fought in the power of Almighty God. And I love what he says to Goliath in 1 Samuel 17:45. You come to me using a sword, a large spear, and a small spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of heaven's armies. He is the God of the armies of Israel. Everyone here will know that the Lord does not need swords or spears to save people. The battle belongs to him and he will help us defeat all of you. And that is exactly what happened. David put a stone in his sling and he sent it sailing towards Goliath. It hit him right in the middle of his forehead and he fell down dead. Yay! So today we've learned that we have a breastplate of righteousness. We put it on by remembering that we are stamped with God's righteousness because of what Jesus did on the cross. And number 2, we turn away from sin and we go God's way. Like David, we'll all face enemies and difficulties in life, but God has given us the equipment and the power we need to stand strong and win.